Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisham Nishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Satat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudodaye Pushpavanatau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau Grantera Arambha Kore Mangalacharana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoya Vighana Vinashana Anayasa Safal Nija Vanchita Purana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, Adi-lila, chapter 2. We read till text 97 yesterday. We were talking about the 6 vilasas, and we discussed the Prabhava and the Vaibhava. Prabhava and the Vaibhava are the 2 expansions or the prakashas. A lot of technical terms here. So now we'll move on to the next verse, which is text number 98. Amsha Shakta Vesharupe Dvi Vidha Vatara Balya Poganda Dharma Dui Ta Prakara. Translation by and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. His incarnations are of 2 kinds, namely partial and empowered. He appears in 2 ages, childhood and boyhood. Purport: the Vilasa forms are 6 in number. Incarnations of 2 varieties, namely Shaktavesh, empowered, and Amshavesh, partial. These incarnations also come within the category of Prabhava and Vaibhava manifestations. Childhood and boyhood are 2 special features of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. But his permanent feature is his eternal form as an adolescent youth, the original personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is always worshipped in this eternal adolescent form. Hare Krishna. So here we see about the 2 kinds of incarnations, namely the Shaktavesh avatar, the empowered. We have discussed that like Bhakti Shakti, Narad Muni, even Vyasadeva is also Shaktavesh. Even Prabhupada is a Shaktavesh, empowered. These are the Jiva Tattvas who are specially empowered to do extraordinary activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Then Kshatriya Shakti, Parshuram is also in that category. And then the Amshas or the partial incarnations. And then we talk about the Balya and the Pauganda, the childhood and the boyhood. But Krishna never goes beyond the adolescent. So it's ever Nava Yauvanam Cha. Even on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was externally 120 years, but he's like a adolescent boy always. He's eternal in this, he's always worshipped in this eternal adolescent form. So in the temples, we don't see Krishna with a beard and white beard or white hair or with a old person carrying a stick. No, that's not the Supreme Lord. He is always fresh, ever youthful, with the Supreme Personality. Okay, 99. Yes, people probably want to read.
Yes, please. Attention devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. 99. কিশোর স্বরূপ কৃষ্ণ স্বয়ং অবতারী ক্রীড়া করে এই ছয় রূপে বিশ্ব ভরি. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The person of God is Sri Krishna, who is eternally an adolescent, is the primeval Lord, the source of all incarnations. He expands himself in these six categories of forms to establish his supremacy throughout the universe. So Krishna's eternal form is his adolescent form, and the beginning of the, like Prabhupada explained that in the last purport, the village form are six in numbers. So here he expands himself in these six categories. So that Lila will be discussed, I think, in following verses. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. So from Balya to Pauganda to Kishore, like that's the transition. But Krishna never grows beyond the Kishore Avastha. So Kishora Svarupa. Okay. Yes, Moksha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, all devotees, Sanvat Pranam. Text 100. Ei chaya rupe haya ananta vibheda, ananta rupe eka rupa nahi kichu bheda. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In these six kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties. Although they are many, they are all one. There is no difference between them. Purport. The personality of Godhead manifests himself in six different features: Prabhav, Vibhav, empowered incarnations, partial incarnations, childhood, and boyhood. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, whose permanent feature is adolescence, enjoys his transcendental proclivities by performing his pastimes in these six forms. In these six features, there are unlimited divisions of personality of Godhead's forms. The jivas or living beings are differentiated parts and parcels of Lord. They are they are all diversities of that one could without a second, the one without a second, the supreme personality of Godhead. Um, so in this, Srila Prabhupada ji is telling us that um, Lord takes many forms. May that be a form of a boy, or it be a child, or it be a form of a it or it be the incarnation which is empowered, like you earlier explained us. But they may seem to be externally different, but internally they all are same, because they all emanate from the supreme personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who is mainly adolescent in his eternal Golok Vrindavan Dham. In his real form, he is always adolescent. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So I think we have discussed this point in the last chapter also, that the sixth number is coming again and again. In the first shloka of Adi-lila also, one day, Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Ishan Isha Avatarakan, Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti, Krishna Chaitanya. Or then also we talk about the six aspects of the Lord, which are in one way non-different. We discussed that in great detail. So here also we see that the Prabhava, Vaibhava, etc., the different incarnations. So in one way they are non-different. In one way, Guru is non-different from Krishna, but that doesn't mean Guru is Krishna. So there is, in the same way, like Vishnu and Krishna are the same, but there is difference also. In the same way, Vamana or Krishna are the same, but there is difference also. So we have to understand that the different avatars, it is same but different. So therefore, the very nice word is used. They're all diversities of one without a second. So ultimately, whether it is the jivas or the everyone is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Correct? We have discussed that. Some are direct, some are indirect, some have turned their face away from Krishna, some have turned their face towards Krishna. But everyone is ultimately coming from, they are all differentiated parts and parts of the Supreme Lord. So, okay, text 101. Is Paswati Mataji want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Text 101. Chit Shakti, Sharup Shakti, Antaranga Nam, Tahar Boibhav Ananta Boikuntha Didham. Translation by His Divine Grace, S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Chit Shakti, which is also called Svarupa Shakti or Antaranga Shakti, displays many varied manifestations. It sustains the kingdom of God and its paraphernalia. Back to you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, I think previously also we discussed about the Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti. So the Shakti also expands in multiple types. So antaranga Shakti, bahiranga Shakti. So here the Chit Shakti is antaranga Shakti or svarupa Shakti or the spiritual energy. The internal energy, spiritual energy, Chit Shakti, same. And all the spiritual world and everything in the spiritual world, referring to the associates of the Lord as well, are the internal energy of the Lord. So that's the spiritual world. Let's see what are the other energies. 102. Yes, Lakshay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Maya Shakti bahiranga Jagat Karana Tahara Vaibhava Ananta Brahmandera Gana. Translation. The eternal energy called Maya Shakti is the cause of innumerable universes with varied material potencies. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. So what's the opposite of Antara? Bahar. Internal, external. Chit Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti or Maya Shakti. So the Maya Shakti, there are two types of Maya. In the spiritual world, there is Yoga Maya, or in the spiritual dham. That is internal energy. But Maya Shakti here is referred to as the external energy, or the Mahamaya, which is the cause of innumerable universes with the material potencies, where we are currently Durga. We are in the Durga, or this fort, or in this jail. Durga is the jail keeper, referring to the Maya Shakti of the Lord, or the external energy, whose actually expansion of Radharani itself, who is the internal energy. But it's like, Vishnu comes in contact with the milk coming in contact with the inoculum, becomes yogurt. So quite similar thing here. The internal energy, when she keeps the charge of the external energy, that's Durga. So as Vishnu takes the charge of the material world, This Lord becomes Lord Shiva. The same way we can understand with the internal and the external energy also. So that is the second here, Shakti. Let's talk about the third one in 103. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, want to read?
Sure. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandapranam, all praise to Srila Prabhupada. Jiva Shakti Tata Thakya Nahi Yara Anta Mukhe Tina Shakti Tara Vidhena Ananta. Translation by His Divine Grace. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The marginal potency which is between these two consists of numberless living beings. These are the three principal energies which have unlimited categories and subdivisions. Purport. The internal potency of the Lord, which is called Chit Shakti or Antaranga Shakti, exhibits variegatedness in the transcendental Vaikuntha cosmos. Besides ourselves, there are unlimited number of liberated living beings who associate with the personality of Godhead in His innumerable features. The material cosmos displays the external energy, in which the conditioned living being all are provided all liberty to go back to the personality of Godhead after leaving the material tabernacle. The Sveta Upanishad 6.8 informs us, Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate natat sama cha vyadikas cha drishyate parasya saktir vividha dhava struyate swabhima dhanma bala kriya cha. The Supreme Lord is one without a second. He is nothing to do personally, nor does he have material sense. No one is equal to him or greater than him. He is unlimited, variegatedness potencies of different names, which exist within him as autonomous attributes and provide him full knowledge, power, and pastimes. Hare Krishna Prabhu, wonderful description here. So we can see that how we are all in this external, Lord is in the spiritual world, we are in this material world, but we have to, get out of this material world as soon as possible. So Krishna is giving us this opportunity to go back. Please explain, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Uchi. There's a word used here, tabernacle. What is the dictionary meaning is? It's a fixed or a movable habitation or a meeting place of worship used. So Prabhupada's vocabulary is also amazing. So in short, after leaving the material habitation, or the material world in short. So one very, very important point, these are the Mukhya Shakti. Mukhya Tina Shakti. Tina is 3. Tara Vibheda Ananta. That means there are a lot of divisions and subdivisions. Like the Jiva Shakti has so many subdivisions. It Nitya Siddha, Nitya Baddha, Sadhana Siddha, Kripa Siddha, so many in the Jiva category. In the internal, the Ladani Shakti, the Samveds, etc., etc. So there are a lot of subdivisions which we don't have to go into now. But Hari Ananta, Adi-lila Ananta, Hari Shakti Ananta, everything is Ananta. Jivas are Ananta. Nahi yar anta. So it's same as saying ananta. Anta. It's anta means end. Nahi yar anta means ananta. The jivas are also ananta. Tara vibhed also ananta. So everything is ananta. Um, so now it's a choice whether we want to get stuck in this material tabernacle or the material world, or we want to get rid of this fog which we were talking about yesterday and come to the internal energy side. The jivas are tatasta. That means they have a choice to worship the internal energy or the external energy. That means worship the so-called glamour of the material world, or Krishna's lotus feet. An intelligent person makes the right choice by serving Krishna. Otherwise, we know sooner or later this world is not a happy place to be in. Especially now everyone is realizing that with this pandemic situation, so many people getting affected, dying, getting disease, etc., etc. It's not our real home. The real home is the place where there is Satchidananda, eternal, blissful, joyful life of devotion. Okay, I'll read maybe one more verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, what is the difference those Ladini Shambhit and Shondini Shakti and these Shaktis?
So all those are the internal energy, the subdivisions of internal energies. Nadini is the pleasure potency, Samvit is the knowledge potency, etc. I'll have to, but all those are subdivisions of the internal energy.
Thank you very much.
Okay, 104. Anyone? Yes, Umesh Prabhu, want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Dandavat pranam to everyone. X 104. Ye mata svarupa gana paratina shakti sabhara ashraya Krishna Krishne sabhara sthiti. These are translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai. These are the principal manifestation and expansion of the personality of a Godhead and his three energies. They are all emanations from Sri Krishna, the transcendence. They have their existence in him. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think very, very straightforward. We have discussed this again and again. Why is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami repeating this point? Because it is very, very important before we start reading about Lord Chaitanya, before we start, going into the pastimes. It may seem that he's acting like an ordinary boy. It may seem he's acting like an ordinary grihastha, eating food, talking to his wife, etc. But therefore, it is the foundation is being built. Whom will we be talking about? Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are not talking about any Tom, Dick, Harry. We are not talking about an ordinary person. He is the cause of all causes. All the emanations come from Sri Krishna. He is the ultimate cause of all the energies, all the unlimited spiritual worlds, Ananta Jivas, Ananta Shaktis, Ananta Lilas, Ananta Avtaras. He is the ultimate cause. We will be talking about that Supreme Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that we can, like the foundation, even in the first 9 cantos, then we come to the 10th canto. So we don't take it cheaply, so that we don't misinterpret whom we are talking about. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining this point again and again. Who is Krishna? What are his different energies? Who is the supreme source of everything, etc. Okay, one last verse from Caitanya-Caritāmṛta for today. 105. Anyone? Sampada, Mataji, you want to read? Okay. Vijaya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yadyapi Brahmananda Ganera Purusha Asraya Sai Purushadi Sabhara Krishna Mula Asraya. Although the three Purushas are the shelter of all the universe, Lord Krishna is the original source of the Purushas. Hare Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Same point here. The three Purushas are Purusha Avtaras. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Was the Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Shrodakshaya Vishnu. I think we have discussed this multiple times. So, any comments, questions before we move on to the Bhagavatam? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram